Alright, so here we got a Steinway B. I just took all the strings off and the plate off. And this piano was made in 1969, and it was rebuilt about 20 years ago or so. So I get to look at another rebuilder's work. So one thing I noticed off the bat is the pin block was replaced, and it was replaced with more of a modern style instead of the Steinway method, which I prefer. I prefer the Steinway method. It just seems more solid in there. And the soundboard had some cracks, and the cracks were repaired. I can see the little shims in there, which only lasts about 20 years, so they've given up by now. And you can see it's got cracks again right there next to the shims. And the bridges, the original pins are in there. And usually when you rebuild a piano, you want to sand the top of these bridges to get rid of those string grooves, and then kind of do a little re-notching, touch up on the re-notching, so that it'll have a nice clean tone again. So that's also a no-no. So I'm taking the pins out, which they just come right out almost with your fingers, also an indicator of bad tone. Then I'll be sanding these bridge caps. Look over here. So I'll be putting some new strings on this and new bridge pins after I sand the bridge caps. So another thing here I noticed is the which also I consider a no-no, is the original A-graphs were used. And you don't really want to do that, because you can see that there's that little, see if it'll show up in the camera. There we go. That little lip, the threads don't go all the way to the top. And so what happens is that when you try to line the A-graph to the angle of the strings, you tend to end up forcing that part with no threads into the thread, and it really weakens the A-graph, and notorious for breaking as time goes on. This one looked like it survived the last 20 years without A-graphs breaking, so I guess it got away with it. So if it works, it works, but usually you want to put new ones to avoid that period. Anyways, overall, kind of not a very good rebuild. So unfortunately, so we'll be doing a better job. We'll be doing pretty much everything that they didn't do: sanding the bridge caps, putting new pins, fixing the cracks. I got a new type of repair crack. I call it T method, and it's a astounding repair. And put in a pin block the way Steinway did. So